Welcome guys, today update 6.2 has hit the test server and it is solid. There are a number of important changes that you need to know about, and this video will go over the things that matter in a quick and painless way. First off, Team Deathmatch is coming to PUBG and you'll find it in the new arcade tab. In TDM mode, you'll join an 8 vs 8 fight on In TDM mode, you'll join an 8 vs 8 fight on various different locations, offering different challenges, and you'll be able to choose between 8 different loadouts. I plan to do a more thorough review about this later, but overall, this is a way to further improve your gunplay skills in a fast-paced experience. So far, TDM seems to be welcomed by the community with overall positive vibes, and the biggest concern is that this will make it harder to get a normal Battle Royale game, as fewer players will be queuing up for those. But we'll have to wait for this to go live before we know what will happen. Throwables are receiving some great and exciting changes, but first, check out the new sound effects of exploding frag grenades. Frag grenades are getting a long-awaited nerf. Damage is now being reduced by the level of armor you wear by the same amount as the damage reduction you experience when getting shot. As an example, wearing a level 3 vest over a level 1 will reduce grenade damage by 35%, and your vest will not lose durability when hit by grenade damage. Frag grenades will also deal 20% less damage to prone players, and have had their weight increased by 50%, meaning you can carry fewer grenades, resulting in less grenade spam. Pulling the pin of a grenade is now also louder, making it easier to hear when a grenade is coming. The smoke grenade fuse time has been decreased to 1 second, making the smoke appear quicker. I feel like this should only really happen if you cook the smoke, because now you can't use smokes as a tactical way to bait people into thinking you're throwing a grenade. Stun grenade indirect hit effect radius has been increased to 6.5 meters up from 5.5 meters, and the ear ringing effect now affects players through walls, just like frag grenades, but with a smaller radius. They also added a camera shake effect near exploding stun grenades. Stun grenades will now explode after 0.7 seconds after impact, or when the fuse time runs out, whichever comes first, and this is coupled with an increased fuse time of 5 seconds. This makes the tactical use much more interesting, as you can throw stuns further away and hit with higher precision. If you want the old 2.5 seconds fuse time, you just manually cook the stun, and there you go. This is actually a big tactical improvement to stun grenades, making them better for breaching buildings. Molotov cocktails are receiving major buffs too. The fire spreads 50% faster, and the fire can spread further with increased damage radius. The fire spreads more consistently to reach the backside of objects, especially thin trees. So throwing a Molotov in front of a tree will actually make the fire hit behind the tree too, but not that far behind it on the bigger trees though. Players now take 10 damage per second more when inside the fire. And the fire will also reach higher up and should be less obstructed by small objects. I recently made a video where I explained how the right body peek works and how little your body is exposed when full body peeking to the right, and this patch already has a mitigation to this. The way they're reducing this effect is by having the player's head lean slightly more towards the scope while ADS, so the character's head is more exposed. And they also made adjustments to some weapons to have the character's body more exposed when peeking to the right of objects. Like I said, this is not a complete fix, and you'll still be able to shoot your enemy without he can see you, but the effect is smaller than before, and therefore the right body peek will be less powerful and less practical to use in normal games. Karakin loot is also getting adjustments. First of all, the G36C and the MP5K can now be used on Karakin. The spawn rate of first aid kits and boosters have been increased, the spawn rate of bandages have been decreased, and the spawn rate of DMRs, snipers and the Win-94 have also been decreased. And for Karakin, they also increased the super slow flying speed of the care package airplane. These changed loot settings sounds pretty solid, as it really wasn't necessary to find 5 DMRs and snipers in every single building. But we'll have to see how it turns out when we start playing the map with the new settings. The blue zone effect is receiving a nice visual change, making it easier to see through it. This is done by removing the distortion effect, giving it a much cleaner look, and it is also easier to see the edge of the blue zone with the added glow effect close to the ground. The blue zone also makes a different sound when entering and exiting it, and it makes a low humming noise when within 10 to 15 meters from the blue zone edge. The humming sound did not work in my test, so I wasn't able to record how it sounds. Changes to the blood has been made to make it easier to see long-range shots by increasing the blood color saturation. And they also added distance scaling to blood effects. A new follow parachute feature has been added, allowing you to follow teammates during parachuting, making it easier to land together. Whether or not this is something that will end up being useful is something we'll find out when we start testing it. PUBG Labs' skill-based rating algorithm is entering its second test with new changes to how points are calculated. I won't go into details with the changes in this patch video, but I'm happy that this is one step closer to getting the ranking system back in PUBG, as I missed when the game had one about 1.5 years ago. The rest of the patch is less significant, and for that reason I won't go into the details of it in this video. But in short, it contains UI improvements, a performance improvement, changes to custom games and observer mode, esports stuff added to the world, new skins, a new parachute backpack model, new survivor pass missions, less XP required in the weapon mastery system, PUBG ID feature temporarily disabled, who cares, replays won't work anymore as usual, a few bug fixes, and reduced volume of the sticky bomb sound effects. So overall, really solid patch, and it's going to be interesting to see where the new Team Deathmatch mode will take the game. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time.